RFK Jr.'s hearing is this week on Wednesday. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s hearing is coming up soon. And I only said that twice because I wanted to clip this video clip. And many people are critical of RFK Jr. They, of course, can find in his voluminous writings something he said that doesn't sound perfect today. It's easy to find. I saw somebody criticize an article we published in Sensible Medicine. This is my friend Dr. Mike, who's a YouTuber as well. Dr. Mike said that the author of your article admits, I've not read everything RFK Jr. has said on this topic. And Mike said, you know, you really got to read everything he said if you're going to weigh in on the issue. But to which I said, like, reading everything RFK Jr. said is like reading the whole Bible. You can still be a Christian even if you haven't read the whole Bible. I mean, it's asking too much. The man has written too much. I can't keep track of everything he said. You can just read a lot of what he said, but you can't read everything what he said. He's written too many things, and he's given too many interviews. I can't keep track of it all. But the people are critical of RFK Jr. because he said some things that, and I fact-checked him for Barry Weiss in the Free Press, and I don't agree. I do think HIV is the cause of AIDS, okay? It is a necessary cause of AIDS. I do think that Wi-Fi probably doesn't cause cancer. At the same time, like a lot of people were like, Wi-Fi doesn't cause cancer. But also, I will want to keep it on the other side of the house. I don't want it on my nightstand, you know, but I'm pretty confident that those radio frequency waves don't cause cancer. When it comes to the pesticides and the pollutants and things in our food, I'm on his side. I think a lot of those do need to be yanked. When it comes to raw milk, I personally am not going to drink it, but I also agree with him that it is permitted for sale in European countries, so we ought to let people do what they want to do on it. It's not something that government should involve themselves with. On fluoride, I'm kind of torn on the issue. I don't think fluoride has much benefits in the modern world, and if they want to pull it from the water supply, it's fine with me. I'm supportive of pulling fluoride from the water supply. I don't think it's a big deal. On vaccines, I 100% agree with him that we have a system that's broken and you cannot detect the full safety signals of vaccines, and we need to reform that. I think where we disagree is that it's easy to cling to low-quality anecdotal reports and have all this kind of fear about what vaccines might be doing. I would say let's create the system where we can detect every single safety signal, which we do not have. We have a very broken system. Create that system and then just let it speak for itself. It will find safety problems. It will find a lot of safety problems. I think the COVID vaccine is not going to do well. You know, it's going to find a lot of safety problems, and then let that data just speak for itself. You will damn everyone if he created such a system, and I think he can do it. Now, people don't want him in power, and they have all sorts of things. I saw that one of his cousins, I think it's the grandson or great-grandson of John F. Kennedy, Jack, what's his name, Schlesinger, I may mispronounce it, I apologize. He said something like, all of my cousins got stories about Bobby Kennedy. They don't want to come forward with those stories. I'm like, you know what we don't need? We don't need stories about his life, personal life. It has nothing to do with his job. I don't care if he caught a bear in a trap and put a whale on the top of his car. I don't really care about that stuff. That's not relevant to me. American medicine is in crisis. We spend 20% of GDP on healthcare. We have health outcomes far worse than peer nations, and we're spending double what they spend. We are in a free fall. We need somebody who's willing to go there and change things, not a status quo person. We need a drastic reformation. You need to go in there with a sledgehammer and start taking out walls in this gut rehab job. It is a gut renovation. It is not changing the paint, okay? That's what every other HHS administrator has done. You need somebody who actually wants to do something substantive. It is a abject failure, American healthcare, okay? This is a guy who's coming in. And if you want to tell me that he has some story about when he went kite surfing, I don't give a shit. It has nothing to do with his on-the-job performance. That's 1.2. It's very poor form to take a crap on your family member when they're facing a difficulty in life. There's the classic thing about a family member. When you have something nice to say it. And when you don't have something nice to say, just be quiet. That's the next point. The third point is unless the cousins are health policy experts, I don't see why their opinion matters to me on this topic at all. I'm a health policy expert. I've been doing it for 15, 20 years. So I'm much more confident in my opinion on these matters than any of the family. I just think it speaks very poorly when you start to threaten about coming out and these kinds of stories. But I suspect during the hearings, we're going to hear a lot of that. Now, this is the point. I'm winding up to the point I really want to make, which is I ask anyone who doesn't like this guy for whatever reason as HHS secretary to ask yourself this question. If it is not RFK Jr. this week, if it's not him, if he gets shot down, if Murkowski flips or a few of these other, and McConnell flips, a few of these votes flip, and if Fetterman doesn't come through and Bernie doesn't come through, if it's not him, who is it going to be? It is not going to be someone who cares about child nutrition but doesn't say those things about HIV. It's not going to be somebody who cares about all of the artificial colorings and flavors and the processed food, but who didn't have his view on Wi-Fi. It's going to be someone who doesn't care about any of these views, who's a self-aggrandizing status quo piece of shit person who, it's full. Washington is full of these piece of shit people. Scott Gottlieb, classic example. That's what you're going to get. So yeah, of course, Robert Kennedy Jr. has not said everything to my standards. Of course, nobody does because I'm an evidence-based purist in many ways. If it's not RFK Jr., it's going to be more of the same, and nobody wants more of the same. American medicine needs someone to go in there with a baby sledgehammer, not a wrecking ball, a baby sledge, but start taking some walls out. You can't go in there with a little paint roller and then a paint roller and then just sit around, when am I going to get my check from Pfizer? Should I join the board of directors of GlaxoSmithKline or Gilead? No, we don't want those shill people. You want someone who's going to go in there with a baby sledge. Now, Bobby's going to go into the baby sledge. He's going to take out that ugly countertop. He's going to knock out that wall. Is he accidentally going to ding the clawfoot bathtub? I don't know. Maybe, but it's okay. We need some gut rehab here. We can't live like this anymore. And if he dings the clawfoot bathtub, we can try to fix it. And maybe we can try to protect it with some different rules around him. That's my view. And I ask them, who will it be? You don't want this guy. Name the person. And then they say, aren't there lots of people? Give me a name. Give me the name of the person you want. And they always choke. Why? Because usually they don't know anything about this topic. Okay, they can't name the last 5 HHS secretaries. They don't follow health policy. They don't know who this guy is. They don't know what they're going to happen. And sometimes they name somebody, but it's a ludicrous suggestion. Oh, I think it should be. Insert the person. And I'm like, well, that person is not of this person's political party. They're in the other political party. And that's a person who's a junior person. That's a person who has this reason. There's a million reasons why Trump is not going to pick that person. So what the hell are you talking about? Be pragmatic.